Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're at one of my favorite places on planet Earth, the Salvage Auction. Dalton and I ran up here this morning with a very specific shopping list. I need parts to fix my Demon, so I'm on the hunt for a Widebody Challenger. As for Dalt over here, we need to find him a replacement project car. I'm sick of looking at his stupid Nissan Juke. We need to find something more fitting of the channel.
This is a local lot. That means the possibilities are endless. We don't have to pay crazy shipping fees. Maybe there's some sort of oddball here that's gonna end up at the shop.
Here we go, right off the bat. This is exactly what we need. Wide body, clean driver quarter. That's the most important part we're after. Not only that, being that it's a wide body car, I think it's gonna have the steering assembly we desperately need as well. Now I know the Demon logo, I know the Hellcat logo, I know the Red Eye logo. One thing I don't know is what in the hell that is. Of all the Challengers I came here to see today, I do think this is the one that we have the best shot of buying, at least from what I've seen on IAA.com. Not only does it look like it has all the stuff we need, it's hit bad enough that it's gonna be a tough fix for somebody, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that keeps the price somewhat reasonable and we can buy it. And now, just in case any of you guys are thinking about buying this and fixing it, I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't do it. This frame rail right here, it's swayed over just a little bit. This one over here, that's more than swayed. The hood here, it's completely wedged shut. For all we know, there's not even an engine in there. So if you're thinking about buying this, you definitely shouldn't.
I know that Carrington's looking at this car for practicality, what parts he can use off of it for the Demon. This car though, the color is awesome. I don't know that I've seen one of these driving around on the street.
Come on, man. No, we're telling them why they should not be buying this. It's a terrible color, it looks bad, we don't want you buying it.
I think it looks great on the car.
Yet another thing that looks great on the car, which we will definitely pull some money back out of when I inevitably buy this thing to part out, are the 6-piston Brembos. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe all the wide body cars do come with 6-piston, and the 4 pistons are relegated to the older cars. But back to what I need off of it, this whole A-pillar assembly, the whole rear quarter being a wide body, that's an important key part there. One of the only parts of the Demon that was actually good is the rear end, so we don't need that. One other part we're lucky to have already sourced is the roof. I can promise you that one thing we would not be doing is putting another sunroof back in the Demon.
There is a nice roof buckle right in this area here. That front frame rail must have moved a lot going towards the middle of this car.
It's more than just the roof. Look at this trunk gap. So we're actually not kidding now. Obviously we were just messing around with you, telling you shouldn't buy it, but this thing is hit pretty good. So bad so in fact that you see what Dalt's circling right there, it's buckled in the rear quarter. It does look like that frame rail got really close to the engine. The belt is thrown off of it, the fan's back into it, but it doesn't look that bad. This car's not listed as running, it doesn't have any keys, but I don't see a lot of physical damage to the motor. Now obviously that could change once we get this thing hopefully back to the shop and inspect it, but at least from what we can see here, it's not that bad. Now one thing that is kind of bad, that control arm there poking out the front of the wheel. It's not supposed to do that, I know that for sure. It did clip the throttle body, so you would need to put one of those on it. I think you'd need to put a little work into it, but overall, not a bad car and definitely a fit for what we need. Yeah, this isn't the Mopar that I came here looking for today, but I'm not gonna skip over this, a Hellcat Durango. And this one's damaged pretty heavily, so I do see it more as a parts car, but I suppose if you're really ambitious, you probably could fix this thing as well. This Durango got crushed. That's some serious damage back here on the driver rear of it. You can see down there, this rear quarter section, that's in a good, I don't know, foot. That's actually pretty horrendous. All the rear left suspension's ripped off of it, the quarter, the door, the frame, everything. If you did want to fix this, you'd need a rear bumper, but that's obviously the least of your concerns. If there's some good news to be had here, it's that the passenger side, at least until you get to the front door, looks decent. The front door gets kind of bad, and then up here, I mean, this is... yeah, I don't need to explain that. I think it's fairly obvious what happened here. It got hit by a pole. I mean, I shouldn't be able to stand in this car like this. It's actually a pretty good fit. This one's a tough one, but there's a lot of valuable parts in it.
We got a lot of blown bags, but as far as the dash, the seat, the driver's seat is good. Passenger seat has a blown bag. And the nice thing is, when you wreck an SUV, they can actually put your suspension corners, wheels, everything you ripped off of it into the interior without damaging it.
I do find it weird that the driver bag didn't blow, but I guess if you're repairing a car like this, you really need all the bonuses you can get, and that's gonna save you a little bit of money.
Both red keys are included, which means I guess somebody was really having some fun with this thing when they wrecked it.
Presumably due to wiring, fuse box, ECU damage, whatever, this one doesn't start. But I don't see any damage to this drivetrain. There's really nothing that would concern me about buying this and counting on it having a good drivetrain. This Hellcat's definitely not going to do what we need it to do to fix the Demon because it's a Charger and not a Challenger. I can't tell if it's plastic dipped or a very bad wrap. The interior, it's just in really disgusting shape. It wasn't taken care of even when it was on the road. As far as actual crash damage, it's really not too bad. You have the front bumper ripped off. You have over here some passenger fender damage. It did clip the hood as well.
It looks like one of those stolen cars that they tried to change the color and drive around and then managed to wreck it.
Yeah, this kind of looks like the one we stole last night. Let's spray bomb it fast and go out cruising, and it didn't work out too well. Through our experience, when the interior, when the body's taken care of like that, sometimes it obviously also means the engine wasn't very well maintained either. So even when we're buying Mopars to part out, I try to pick ones that are just overall in clean shape. It's not going to be that one. Numero uno on the list of cars that are way cooler than the Juke. The new BRZ, I'm sorry, I almost screwed that up. The GR86, it's not a BRZ, I know. I don't think there's anybody watching this video that wouldn't argue that this is a better platform than the Nissan Juke. It's an awesome color, it's rear wheel drive, they can make more than 290 horsepower. I don't think there's an accurate rebuttal for this.
I do like the looks of it. I like the rear wheel drive versus the front wheel drive option, and wow. That is a good looking interior.
Yeah, you look real good in there. It looks a little tight.
Is this as far as the seat goes back?
Okay, it goes down. All right.
This thing's actually pretty sweet. I do really like the color. As far as the damage, over here, driver quarter panel, not that bad at all. Really not that bad. That's an easy fix. Rear bumper, perfect. Rear end of the car in general, pretty perfect. Sounds good too. Sounds really good. I didn't know off the bat we'd find one that's just undoubtedly, unarguably better than the Juke. But I mean, other than the price of this car, yeah, I don't know, man. I think you gotta buy it. As far as the front end, the driver fender, full replace. Hood, probably replaced, though you might be able to fix that. It is aluminum, so it's not gonna be the easiest thing in the world. The front bumper, it's dug into the dirt there. Oh, over here it's just ripped off. You need to replace that for sure. It is sitting in a gravel lot. We're obviously not able to get under it, but as best I can tell, it really just looks like suspension damage. Thought you're gonna need a passenger fender. I think we can fix that door there. How's the rear end? Oh, it got the quarter too.
Very minor though.
Did you happen to notice the mileage on it?
I didn't know. I didn't even look.
Oh, rookie, come on. Your new project car here, you don't even want to know what the mileage is?
4,800 miles.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
And it looks like that too. This whole car is just clean. This is one of those cars that's hit just bad enough where it has some damage on pretty much all of it except the rear end here and except the roof. Because of that, I think it's actually gonna go for a decent price. I don't know exactly what the market is on these newer ones. Dalt, what do you want to pay for this?
0. The trans, it kills it. A manual one, I am totally open to. Automatic, can do it.
I did get hyped up on how easy of a fix that car is, how awesome the interior is, and how awesome the color is. I did forget it's auto, so I think for now the Juke is safe, and rightfully so. Okay, so this isn't what we're technically here to look at today. I already have one. We know Dalt's not gonna buy one. He's the biggest Porsche hater I know, and unfortunately there's not much we're gonna be able to see, being that the top's taped up, being that the front's taped shut, but you guys know I'm a big 997 lover, so I can't not take a quick look. Judging by the fact that the top is not working, no electronics are on here, and there's no obvious body damage, I'm gonna guess this is a flood car. And while I can't show you that window sticker right there, I did just take a quick look at it, and that is indeed correct. This car is listed as a freshwater flood. That's about all we're gonna be able to tell. There's no waterline marked, but it is super clean. So it's definitely a gamble, but it might be one worth taking. Yet another one that was very high on my list coming here in an even better color than the last one we saw, a green wide-body Scat Pack Challenger. Just like the last one, this does appear to have everything we need. Good rear quarter panel, good flare. It's a wide body, so it's gonna have the electric steering that we also need. The interior on this one, super base. It has the cloth with kind of checkered pattern stuff. Not really a big deal considering we already have our interior mostly covered. He didn't need to use words to let me know what he meant there. Passenger corner panel is destroyed, but that's all right, because what we need over here primarily lies from here and forward. And here, it actually looks okay. I mean, we got a little paint damage there, but let's be real. You see the car we're fixing, we're not worried about that. That definitely hurt a bit there, but the drivetrain itself doesn't look too bad. Is that part of the belt?
Yes.
How'd that get shredded?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
In some of these videos, you've heard us talk about red flags on these auction cars. That is a huge red flag. There is nothing seemingly pushed back into this motor, but for some reason, the belt is off of it. It does have oil, which is a bonus. If it did go over something, you don't have to worry about the pan having been ripped off of it or a hole in it.
Which is always a major concern. Here on the passenger fender though, look at that. I keep noticing more and more damage on this car. From the top, from over there, I didn't realize that it got hit this bad in the front. That whole front apron assembly there is bashed in. Obviously the front core support there is ripped off. The frame rail itself, that weld on the top, that swayed over a little, but I have to say the actual frame rail, to the naked eye at least, which doesn't account for much, looks straight. This is the second Challenger we've seen already, and we're not gonna have been able to start either because neither of them have keys. Just like the last one, other than the belt being off the engine, I don't see any reason why it would have damage to it. You just saw it has oil in it. I really think if you buy this car, you have a decent shot of getting a good engine. We started off pretty hot on the Challenger front this morning. I'm 2 for 2. Now we need to go find something for Dalton. This next one's gonna take a little convincing because of the price, but I think with the right amount of love shown in the comments, we can get him to buy this thing. Not that. That's a 5.7 narrow body. We don't care about that. We're talking about the M4 Club Sport.
Conveniently, the hood on this is already popped for us, and you can see right off the bat the broken carbon fiber strut bar. There's a lot of movement up front with the upper frame rail sections. Look how awesome that weave is.
That's got to be a Club Sport specific thing, right? Neither of us are BMW guys. I'll say that from the jump. If that is true, go ahead and put it in the comments. I assume it has to be true.
We appreciate good quality stuff, especially from these OEM manufacturers, as they continue to step up their game with the rare materials and just awesome options they're putting on some of these newer cars.
You know, as far as German stuff goes, I'm a Porsche guy through and through, but that's awesome.
Because of how much damage is here and there's parts in the way, it's going to be really hard to identify what is seemingly damaged on the front of the motor, but these cars, I know one of the special parts of them is in the interior, and that's where I want to head.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and when I think Club Sport, it's the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, look at these seats. They are one of the coolest looking factory seats that I can think of in a car. They have these awesome pass-through, I guess, kidney areas is the easiest way to describe it. Awesome use of material and stitching with the contrast stitch on the leather Alcantara combination. Ventilated, heated seats. These are awesome.
Check those seat belts. That's an awesome touch. The M, I guess, stitching there. One other thing that you guys already know I'm a fan of, OEM carbon fiber roof. This car is super, super high spec. Presumably because stuff's pushed back into the engine, this car is listed as non-running. Maybe it's that, maybe it's wiring damage, maybe there's a fusible link blown.
Awesome OEM options again, the carbon fiber spoiler. It has a carbon fiber diffuser. This car is absolutely beautiful, and I can certainly appreciate it, but what I am seeing is dollar signs adding up. You guys know I don't get into the Euro tax with the Porsches. BMW is the same to me. The dollars involved fixing this car has to be astronomical. Good on BMW for throwing in some awesome options on this car, but this one, not for us.
And what he means, of course, is not for him, because we haven't parted one of those out, and I have been looking to do that. This is the one I've been waiting for, the car that Dalt actually needs to buy because it's a super rare, awesome spec. Before that guy was a Juke dude, he was an IS300 guy. The IS300 that he had was a giant piece of junk. This one here, definitely not that. Not only is it super clean, look how clean the headlights are, it's the best color they made IS300s in, and that, of course, is not the best part. That is the key to it all right there.
I have dreamed of having a manual IS300 for a long time. I've owned two. The blue ones are pretty darn rare. These cars, if you've never driven one, these are one of the best driving small sedans that I think you can buy even to this day. Man, a manual one, dude. How awesome would it be to be banging gears in one of these things?
Turbo kit, turbo kit, turbo kit, turbo kit. Well, it looks way cleaner than yours. I remember your engine bay was all oily, just kind of junky. So it actually got maintenance. Wow.
Yeah.
I understood your argument on the GR86, why you wouldn't want to buy that. There's very little that I'm going to accept on this on why this is not a better car than the Juke. Look, this thing is total and it has less damage than the one you sold clean title. Look at that. It's just some rear suspension damage, a little bit of rear quarter damage. And I mean a little bit. And a front fender, which is, I don't know, $8 at the local junkyard. Look, sure, you're gonna need some seats, but otherwise the interior is actually pretty clean as well. Look at that 3-pedal IS300 in the perfect color. I mean, what's the excuse? There can't be one, right?
I'm gonna make a bold statement here. We're gonna buy this car. It's pretty much that simple. Because if I don't rebuild it, Fernando's gonna rebuild it.
Put him on the spot like that?
He's been looking for one too. There's no reason, manual, we do need to try and fire it up. There's no reason if this thing mechanically is okay that we don't buy it unless somebody really overpays for it.
We have been looking for a manual IS300 for a while now, and this was the one car that I knew coming in here today I could convince him to buy.
Very, very quiet motor.
Which doesn't matter because we'll rip it out immediately in favor of a better one, but you know, this W58 transmission just butter smooth.
For those that don't know IS300s, this does have the dark smoke taillights. The later year cars came with that as an option, as opposed to the original chrome taillights that have become famous for the Altezza look. This thing checks all the boxes. It being a manual car makes it 100% worthwhile to get involved with, to do a repair on. I've been wanting to do something with the 2JZ for content here on the channel. The 240SX, before we decided to put a Viper motor in it, was going to get a 2JZ.
Well, one more car here that belongs on the shopping list. Not for me, not for Dalt, but for the parts business, a GTO. This one is the 0506 with the LS2 engine, and we do part a lot of these out. I take a little bit of joy in getting these pieces of junk off the road. Dalt, pop this hood because that's all I care about. LS2 6-liter, very, very skinny, thin diameter, long tube headers. Mishimoto radiator, I do like that. What do we got down there?
Feels like a factory crank bolt. That doesn't mean that someone hasn't been into it though.
If there's something that can redeem a GTO in my mind, it'd be the fact that it has a big choppy cam. That means once we get this fine drivetrain out of this junk car, we can actually put it in something cool. It's gonna sound right and it's gonna make some power. I gotta give credit where credit's due just a little bit. This car is actually clean. It looks good for a GTO. Now the real test of the condition of a GTO, the seats. Oh man, Dalt, no split seams. This GTO is actually nice. What is the mileage on this? 111,000 and it still looks good. This one's definitely an anomaly for the GTOs.
No matter how much we like to hate on GTOs, it always sucks when you see somebody's baby at a junkyard like this. Somebody took care of this car.
Well, unless it's a Nissan Juke.
Got him! It might not be our personal cup of tea being an automatic, but there is certainly nothing wrong with a 6-liter with a 4L65?
Nailed it.
4L65 behind it. great swap drivetrain. I can't wait to send this chassis to the crusher and put the drivetrain to good use.
Now, just in case one of you guys want to outbid us for this thing and actually want to save it for some unknown reason, the damage on it, it's pretty light. You can see right here on the core support, this is the worst of it. This headlight got hit. In fact, there's a piece of it right there. The bumpers are not cheap. The fenders, they're dirt cheap. You'll need yourself a passenger side skirt, also no big deal. The rear end of the car, that looks pretty good. Pretty much the entire driver's side looks good as well. Even the headlight isn't too bad, though it does have some broken tabs somewhere. Frankly, if you did want to fix this, it would be a really easy job. I don't know, it's not a bad bet, is it, Fernando? It might be a bad bet. I have $50 on the car going above 5 grand. Dalt thinks it's going under 5 grand.
There we go.
Oh, holy sh**. Wow.
Come on.
No.
$50, here we go.
No way.
Oh, you have to.
Wow.
Easy money.
Chicago. All right, so now the real question is, how? Dude, that's a lot of money for that car.
Hit it again.
Dude, that is a lot of money. Oh my goodness, dude. I just can't believe it's that high. I truly can't.
Well, we won it.
All right. So not only did I lose the $50 to you, but I had to pay more for it than I wanted anyway. This is like a lose-lose.
I don't need to hear you talk. I need to see money in my hand. I don't want that.
So basically, you bought it for
It's gonna be like 6 something with fees.
Oh yeah, it's a $6,000 wrecked IS300 with 170,000 miles. And just so we're clear here, do you want to see the definition of just unbothered?
No bueno.
Yes, bueno. We got the car. That's all that matters.
Is it now?
All right, let's go get it.